Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're diving deep into the delicious world of Taiwanese cuisine, specifically focusing on, well, two key things based on some really fascinating sources you shared. We've got the vibrant night market scene in Taipei
Always a highlight.
and the equally important Taiwanese breakfast culture.
Right, so we've got articles covering both, some insights from cookbook authors, people who really know their stuff, and even some online discussions about what makes Taiwanese food tick.
Exactly. So our mission really is to get a good, quick grasp of these iconic food experiences, maybe pick up some surprising facts, figure out what you might want to try first if you ever go, or even just, try making something new at home.
And it's interesting, how these two pillars, the night markets and the breakfast traditions, they offer such different views into Taiwan's food soul.
How so?
Well, one's this, like explosion of energy and flavor, right? The night market. The other is more grounded, an everyday ritual, but with its own surprising variety.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's jump right into that electric atmosphere. Taipei's night markets. These aren't just a few stalls, are they?
Oh, no, not at all. They are truly sprawling. We're talking often 5 to 10 whole streets.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, just packed, cheek to jowl with food stalls everywhere. The smells, the sounds. It's quite an experience.
And the prices, I gather, are pretty good.
It's a big part of the appeal, definitely. You get incredible food, really delicious stuff for ridiculously cheap prices compared to, say, similar food fairs elsewhere in the world.
That's a major draw. But okay, it sounds overwhelming. So much choice. How do you even start? What are the absolute must-tries, the real defining dishes?
Yeah, good question. A great place to start is with taro, Lu Wei,
Yeah.
braised food.
Lu Wei, okay.
It's a staple. You find it everywhere. Think of this big pot of simmering broth, salty, herby, sometimes a bit spicy, and you just pick what you want. Tofu, veggies, different meats, all sorts of goodies.
So you choose your own adventure, kind of.
Exactly. They boil it up for you right there and serve it in a box or a bag. Perfect for walking around and snacking. Highly customizable.
Sounds fantastic. A good way to ease in. What's next on the essential list?
Then there's Shu Shouke, Chang Bao Xiao Chang.
That translates to?
Big sausage wrapped in little sausage.
Okay. Intriguing.
It is. It's as fun to eat as it sounds. You have a sweet Taiwanese pork sausage,
What?
and it's tucked inside another sausage made of sticky rice. Kind of like a hot dog bun, but made of rice sausage.
A rice sausage bun. Got it.
Yeah. And then they usually top it with garlic, fresh coriander, cilantro, maybe a bit of chili. That mix of sweet sausage, savory rice, the fresh herbs. It's really distinctive.
Okay, adding it to the list. Now, for something maybe a bit more infamous, shudu, Stinky Tofu.
Legendary Stinky Tofu. The name doesn't lie. It's got a powerful aroma from the fermentation.
So is it worth trying?
It's definitely an acquired taste. But for those who get past the smell, the texture is often really good crispy outside, tender inside. And it comes with a savory sauce, usually some pickled veggies to cut through it. Our source actually recommends looking for the steamed version, specifically at Nanji Chang Night Market, a place called Yuan.
Steamed, not fried.
Yeah, apparently the steamed preparation lets the unique fermented flavor really shine. Whereas the deep-fried ones, while common, can sometimes taste pretty similar from stall to stall.
Interesting. Steamed stinky tofu. Okay, for the adventurous, let's maybe move to something a bit more universally appealing. Gua Bao, the Taiwanese burger.
Yes, this is a huge crowd pleaser, and for good reason. Picture this soft white steamed bun like a pillow, and it's stuffed with this incredibly tender, slow-cooked fatty pork belly. Then you get some sweet peanut powder or sugar and a sprinkle of fresh coriander.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredible.
It's that perfect mix of rich, savory pork, a little sweetness, and the fresh herbs cutting through. Lan family's Gua Bao in Taipei is supposed to be fantastic.
Okay, that's definitely going high on the list. Next up, Yuan and Diguaki, taro balls and sweet potato balls.
Yeah, these are great for a sweet fix. The sweet potato balls, the diguaki, they're described as having this amazing texture, like crunchy, fluffy, and chewy all at once.
How can they be all those things?
I know, right? Magic. And the taro balls, Yuan, are a bit denser, more decadent, and sometimes, get this, they have a salted egg yolk inside.
Salted egg yolk in a sweet taro ball.
Yep, that salty-sweet combo is huge in Taiwan. Ningxi Night Market is apparently the place for both. Yo for sweet potato and Shina Yo for those taro balls with the egg yolk.
Okay, Nanji Market, noted. That salted egg yolk thing sounds wild, but maybe amazing. And then there's the peanut and ice cream burrito. Washinghuanbing Kilin.
Right. This one sounds like a real love it or hate it situation.
Tell me more.
Okay, so they shave peanut brittle, like fresh, right there. So you get the nutty smell and crunch. Then scoops of ice cream.
Standard enough so far.
And then often they offer to add coriander.
Coriander with ice cream and peanuts.
I know, it's all wrapped in a thin crepe. So you've got cold, crunchy, nutty, sweet, and possibly herby. Definitely a unique mix of temperatures and textures.
Okay, wow. That's definitely something to consider trying if you're feeling bold. Now, Ningxia Market came up again. The source mentioned it for oyster omelets, a wujian, and those taro balls again. It seems like a real hot spot.
It really does. Seems to have some standout vendors. For the oyster omelets, Aoigo gets a specific shout out.
And what makes the Taiwanese oyster omelet special?
It's the batter. They use sweet potato starch, which gives it this unique, slightly chewy QQ texture that's very different from other omelets.
Right, that QQ texture again. And noodles. Can't forget noodles. Mexican. Vermicelli noodles.
Yep, found all over Taipei. Comfort food. The source mentions a particularly good one near the temple in Shilin Night Market. Likely a rich broth, maybe some oysters or pork in there.
Sounds warming. And finally, Nanji Chang Market gets another mention for fried chicken. Shizaji. And Taiwanese wraps. Rungbing.
Yeah, Nanji Chang sounds like a great all-rounder. The fried chicken from Iziao is highlighted, and the runbing from Shidi Sizo is mentioned as a lighter option, full of fresh veggies.
And sweet soup dumplings, too.
Right, those sweet glutinous rice balls and soup, Tang Yuan. The classic dessert to finish things off.
Okay, so you're there, surrounded by all this amazing food. How do you actually order? It must be chaotic.
Yeah, probably a bit. The best advice seems to be just follow your nose. Smell something good. Go check it out.
Dive right in.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pointing, smiling.
Yeah.
It usually works. Part of the fun is just discovering things.
Embrace the chaos. I like it. Now, are there any things to maybe skip? Things that aren't worth the stomach space?
Well, the article flags a couple of things. One is this deep-fried, healthy sandwich.
Healthy, in quotes.
Exactly. It might have salad and egg inside, but deep frying it probably cancels out the health benefits. Likely pretty oily.
Right. Save the calories for something else. Anything else?
The drinks, surprisingly. Or rather, most of them. Lots of the brightly colored drinks are apparently super high in sugar and just empty calories.
So they fill you up before you get to the good stuff.
Precisely. Sticking to water, or maybe a traditional herbal tea might be smarter. They mention Ibo in Shilin and Shilin Care at Sheda Market for good herbal tea options.
Good tip. Hydrate wisely. Okay, so we have dishes, we have ordering strategies. What about the markets themselves? The article picked some top spots in Taipei.
Yeah, it did. Number 1 was Nanji Chang.
The one with the steamed stinky tofu and good fried chicken?
That's the one. Praised for being a good size, not too overwhelming, and crucially, less touristy. It feels more local.
So worth the slight extra effort to get there, maybe?
Sounds like it. Great for fried chicken, stinky tofu, wraps, fried buns, sweet soup dumplings. A real taste of local favorites.
Okay, Nanji Chang, what's next?
Ninjia. This one's highlighted for being super convenient, centrally located, and easy to navigate just one long strip.
Easier for newcomers, perhaps?
Probably. And a big plus, it apparently has sit-down restaurants with air conditioning mixed in with the stalls.
Oh, AC. That's a game changer in human Taipei, I bet.
Definitely. And it's the prime spot for those oyster omelets, mochi, and the taro balls with salted egg yolk.
Got it. And the third top pick in Taipei?
Lu Wei, also convenient, near Songshan MRT. It's got a really grand entrance near a beautiful temple.
What's it famous for, food-wise?
Pepper pork buns. Yeah, or a big one there. Also grilled squid, and interestingly, soups cooked with Chinese medicinal herbs.
Medicinal soups, wow.
Different, yeah, unique flavors, maybe even good for you.
So Nanji Chang for local feel, Ningxia for convenience and AC, Raohei for pepper buns and unique soups. That's helpful. Do they mention any good ones outside Taipei?
Yep, quick honorable mentions for Dongdamen in Hualien, Fengjie in Taichung, and Dadong in Tainan. So night market culture is definitely a Taiwan-wide thing.
Absolutely. Okay, that was a fantastic tour of the night markets. I'm starving now. But let's switch gears to the other pillar, Taiwanese breakfast.
Right. And the source we have for this is super detailed. It really breaks down the huge variety.
What's the first thing you notice about Taiwanese breakfast spots?
Often, the name. Many shops have soy milk, dujiang, right in their name. Because that's like the standard breakfast drink, not coffee, soy milk.
Okay, so look for the soy milk signs. And breakfast isn't just for breakfast time.
Not at all. Apparently, the first 24-hour breakfast shop concept started in Taiwan back in the 70s, and it's still common. People eat breakfast foods anytime, even late at night after going out.
I love that flexibility. So what are some of the traditional staples?
The Dan Bing,
Yeah.
egg crepes.
Yeah, those are fundamental. Thin, savory crepes, usually wrapped around egg. But there are variations. Some use rice flour batter or hu, Isan and Bing, making them chewier, more QQ again. That texture seems important.
Very. And you can also get deep-fried versions, which are crispier.
Chewy or crispy. Decisions. What about green onion pancakes? Kongzua Bing. Or Kwek Ping Kongzua Bing. Are they breakfast food?
You might find them, but they're maybe more common as general street food or at night markets.
Yeah.
Definitely an anytime snack, though. The soup bun kind of means grab pancake. It's often flakier, more layered.
Gotcha. Now, soup dumplings or xiao long bao for breakfast. Really?
Yep, they're eaten all day, but if you see them at a breakfast place, they're almost always pork-filled. Served hot in the steamer basket. Quite a satisfying start.
Definitely sounds more substantial than cereal. And steamed buns. Bazi and ochim.
Common too. You can get plain mantou, just the steamed bread, or baozi with fillings, usually veggies. A popular move is to ask for it with egg and cheese added.
Egg and cheese again. Seems like a popular add-on.
It really is, especially with the more modern stuff, which we'll get to. But you also see it with traditional items.
Okay. And ea fan tuan. Sticky rice rolls.
Yes, very traditional. Apparently originated in Shanghai. They're usually log-shaped, not round, like Japanese onigiri. Sticky rice wrapped around various savory fillings. Great for eating on the move.
Portable filling. Makes sense. Now this one sounds really different. Ao xiandu zhang. Salty soy milk?
It does sound odd if you only know sweet soy milk, right? But it's more like a savory soup.
A soup made with soy milk.
Yeah. Hot soy milk, it curdles slightly, and they add stuff like crispy fried dough sticks, chow, green onions, chili oil, maybe some tiny dried shrimp or pickles.
Whoa, okay, textures sound interesting. Crispy dough and soup.
Exactly. It's savory, a bit tangy, maybe spicy, a real local favorite, but maybe challenging for newcomers expecting a sweet drink.
Definitely need to be prepared for that one. What about sioka chuki? Chive pockets?
Think savory pastry, kind of like a calzone, filled with chopped chives, tofu, glass noodles, maybe some pork.
Sounds comforting.
Yeah, and you can often get a fried egg on top too. Even better. And last on the traditional list, lipukao.
Radish cakes.
Right, white radish cakes. Made from shredded radish and rice flour, sometimes with bits of dried shrimp or cured meat. You see them at dim sum too.
How are they served for breakfast?
Usually pan-fried until crispy, often with an egg, and served with like a sweet soy sauce or a chili sauce for dipping.
Okay, a really diverse traditional spread, but then there's the modern side with more Western influence.
Totally. Breakfast shops really blend the old and new. And yeah, like you said, cheese jiaki pops up everywhere in the modern stuff, usually that processed slice kind.
On what kind of things? Breakfast burgers? Humber?
Oh yeah, breakfast burgers are huge, really popular. And the variety is wild. Pork is common, but also beef, crispy chicken, cuttlefish, shrimp, codfish, tuna.
Cuttlefish burger for breakfast?
Apparently. And there's usually an egg burger option for vegetarians, just add cheese. They typically come with lettuce, cucumber, a sweet mayo, ketchup, and often that fried egg.
Definitely not your standard McMuffin lineup. What about sandwiches? Simmering.
Yep, tons of sandwiches, whole sections of menus dedicated to them, all sorts of fillings, quick, easy, popular, especially with younger crowds.
And chichapian. Thick toast. That sounds simpler.
It is. Just super thick-cut white bread, toasted, with toppings,
Right.
butter, jam, chocolate spread, peanut butter.
Peanut butter toast.
Right. Often they put the topping on before toasting so it's warm and melty, cut into triangles. Big hit with kids.
I can see why. And teppanyaki noodles for breakfast. Oh, man.
Yeah, served sizzling on a little hot plate, usually with black pepper sauce, maybe an egg, like you'd get at a teppanyaki place, but for breakfast.
And finally, the familiar hash brown. Ew. Shipping.
Yep, those flat golden patties, McDonald's style. Usually just a side item, a single patty. Ketchup available, of course.
A little taste of home, maybe, for some visitors.
Okay, drinks. We know soy milk is king. Absolutely. A dujan, you gotta specify size, temperature iced, warm, or hot, and sweetness. Half sugar or no sugar are common options.
And the best stuff is made in-house.
Definitely. It has a much richer, beanier flavor when it's fresh.
What about the other one? Mijian brown rice milk?
It's soy milk's sweeter, thicker cousin. Often has a peanutty taste, hot or cold. But usually no unsweetened option for this one.
Can you mix them?
Sometimes, asking for yo, bijujang, half soy milk, half brown rice milk, is a thing. Gives you balance. Not every shop does it, but worth asking.
Good tip. Okay, so night markets, breakfast. We're getting a great picture, but what about the bigger picture?
Right.
What is Taiwanese cuisine? Is it just a type of Chinese food?
That's the big question, right? And the sources really argue it's more than that. It's distinct. People like Lu Wei, Ivy Chen, they make a strong case for its unique identity.
What makes it distinct then?
Well, one thing is sweetness, especially down south in Tainan. That goes back to Taiwan's history as a huge sugar producer. Sugar even pops up in savory dishes.
To balance flavors.
Exactly. And generally, there's a real focus on fresh, seasonal ingredients. Maybe less reliance on really heavy spices compared to some mainland Chinese regional styles, letting the ingredient quality shine.
And history played a big role, colonization and stuff.
Huge role. The Dutch pushed the sugar industry. The Japanese influenced things like the preference for short grain rice, though that's also found in northeast China. Milkfish farming is linked to the Dutch too.
Wow, you can really taste the history. And the temples. They connect to food too.
Yeah, temples are community hubs, and food markets often spring up around them, especially during festivals. It's a natural gathering place.
And that oyster omelet we talked about is seen as uniquely Taiwanese.
Right, because the key ingredients, the sweet potato starch, the type of small oysters readily available there, they really reflect the local environment. It wasn't something brought over directly. It evolved in Taiwan.
So the whole debate, Taiwanese food versus Chinese food, it's complex.
It is. Some see it as a fusion, regional Chinese, especially Fujianese, mixed with Japanese, American, indigenous influences. Others emphasize the Fujianese roots, but argue that Taiwanese adaptations make it truly its own thing.
And the term itself can be political.
It can be, yeah, tied up in identity, but generally, flavor-wise, people perceive it as maybe lighter overall than some mainland cuisines, often with that touch of sweetness, less intense spice. Garlic is popular, though.
Right, a balance of flavors seems key. Okay, let's zoom in on one specific icon, the pineapple cake. Ooh, feng li su. Apparently the most famous snack.
Undisputed. And which brand is best is like a national debate.
Huh, so what are they exactly?
Little baked pastries, square or rectangular, buttery, crumbly crust outside and inside this sweet, tangy filling made from preserved pineapple. They've been around over 100 years.
But sometimes it's not actually pineapple inside. I read about winter melon.
That's true. Traditionally, winter melon or wax gourd was often mixed in or even used entirely. It added chewiness and sweetness, and it was cheaper than pure pineapple. So yeah, some pineapple cakes might be 100% winter melon. They often have a smoother, jammier texture.
Good to know. But now, pure pineapple is becoming more popular.
Yes, definitely a trend towards 100% pineapple fillings. These are usually tartar, less sweet, and more fibrous. You can really taste the fruit, sometimes labeled gourmet or tu feng li.
Tu feng li, soil pineapple. What does that mean?
Tu feng means like local or native. It refers to Taiwanese pineapple varieties, which are often smaller and tartar. So it often implies 100% pineapple, but not always guaranteed. Just means local pineapple.
Okay, so many bakeries offer both types now, the blend and the pure.
Yep, and variations too. Melon, strawberry, oolong tea fillings, and pineapple cakes with that salted egg yolk inside are also really popular.
Of course. The salted egg yolk returns. Okay, the source did a taste test. Let's hear the results. Who came out on top?
The winner, according to this specific tasting, was chiate.
Chiate. And what was their filling like?
Interestingly, it's a blend about 20% pineapple, 80% winter melon. They found it had the best balance of flavor and texture. Expect lines if you go to their shop.
Wow. Mostly winter melon and still the winner. Shows balance is key. Who was second?
Close second was Lychee. They offer both a traditional blend, very similar to Chiata, and a pure pineapple gourmet version, also known for excellent egg yolk pineapple cakes.
Lychee, okay. Sounds like a good bet too. Any others stand out?
Pan's Cake was third. They're known for a 100% winter melon version. Very chewy, very sweet, more old school. Found in Bankyo, maybe less touristy cues.
For the traditionalists, what about the pure pineapple ones?
Sunny Hills came fifth. They do 100% pure pineapple, distinctive long shape. They were found a bit tart and fibrous by this taster, but the shop experience is apparently lovely free sample and tea. They're also the most expensive.
Tart and fibrous. Guess it depends what you like. Any others?
Yuan was fourth, a 70-30 pineapple winter melon mix. Long-running brand, offers DIY classes. Simmering was sixth, Bite-sized, okay, but boring. And IJ Sheng was last, found to be dry and crumbly, though they have a reputation for good vegan pastries, separate from pineapple cakes.
So chiate and lychee for balanced, pans for sweet chewy, Sunny Hills for pure tart. Good overview. And there are good options outside Taipei, too.
Yeah. Miyahara Eye Clinic and Ichihuku in Taichung, Jizangnan in Tainan, another Sunny Hills in Kaohsiung. Plenty to explore across the island.
A pineapple cake pilgrimage. Okay, last topic, vegetarian food. Taiwan has a lot of vegetarians, right? But finding great options might need some tips.
They came up in the discussions, yeah. Vegetarianism is common, partly due to Buddhist influences, but some worry about just finding greasy buffets with lots of fake meat.
So how do you find the really good stuff, the more interesting veggie food?
One tip was to search online for tsamko, sushi vegetarian, and maybe filter by price. Higher price might mean more care or creativity. Chains like Xi'an, Shuhi were recommended.
Any specific websites or apps?
Happy Cow was highly recommended. It's specifically for vegan options globally and usually reliable, with user reviews. Google Maps is okay, but be aware results can sometimes be skewed.
Happy Cow, got it. And there were loads of specific restaurant recommendations for Taipei.
Oh yeah, quite a list. Herbivore, Mia Cucina, Vegenius, Little Tree Food, pricier but praised. Even Din Tai Fung has veggie options at one branch. Loving Hut, Chow, Amalfi Coffee focused on cheese mushroom, Yang Xin, veg dim sum, Minder Buffet, Fruitful Foods, upscale buffet, Zen Tea, another dim sum spot.
Oh, okay, keep going.
Essency, vegetarian plants and element, Western style, Safety and Serenity restaurant. Yeah, plenty of choices ranging from casual to fancy.
That's encouraging, and it sounds like many standard dishes can be found in veggie versions.
That's a key point, because vegetarianism is so ingrained, many places are used to making things like dumplings or noodle soups without meat. People are generally thoughtful. Asking vegan sushi can help clarify. Hot pot places usually have vegan broths too.
So asking is important. What about different types of vegetarianism?
Right. Buddhist vegetarian often avoids meat, but might include eggs, dairy. Finding strictly vegan might be easier in more westernized areas. Searching YouTube in Chinese using terms like Ji was also suggested for local tips.
And organic stores might know places, and the Tourism Bureau has a guide.
Exactly. So resources are out there. With a bit of looking, vegetarians and vegans can definitely eat very well in Taiwan.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does it all mean? It really feels like Taiwan's food scene is this incredible mix of history, culture, and just seriously delicious food.
Absolutely, from the energy of the night markets to the comfort of breakfast, the sweetness of pineapple cakes. There's so much depth there.
And we saw how history, like sugar production or colonization, really shaped the flavors we taste today, making Taiwanese food stand out.
Right. And even for plant-based eaters, while you might need to do a little digging beyond the basic buffets, there's a surprising amount of great stuff to find.
So here's something to think about. A final thought. With such a dynamic food culture, constantly blending tradition and innovation, what's next? What new flavors or trends might come out of Taiwan?
That's interesting. Maybe more fusion between that night market creativity and high-end cooking. Or perhaps one of those unique breakfast items finally going global.
Could be. It definitely feels like a food scene to keep watching. Keep your eyes and definitely your taste buds open. The story of Taiwanese food is clearly far from over.